Welcome to a day in the life of Engage at Providence Team Care. In this brief demonstration, we'll see how IBM WebSphere Portal, social products, and analytics come together to provide a more compelling experience. In the story, we have three different personae. We see Lily, a mid-30s diabetic, on the rise with her company, trying to pursue a career and motherhood at the same time. We'll see her signing up, opting in for various services. We'll see her traveling with a laptop first and then with her mobile device. The campaign for Lily has been tremendously successful at changing her behavior. We'll watch how Dina Morani, the segment manager for Men's Cardiac, is able to harvest the learnings from the diabetes group and then cascade them to her team members such as Conrad. Conrad has been not feeling well lately. We'll see how Conrad is engaged by the team care applications and ultimately how Conrad is healed. Let's get started. Lily has already chosen her provider, in this case Providence, and she's at her physician's office after visiting the provider website. The physician has noted that she's not yet opted in for some of the behavioral improvement opportunities and community collaboration tools. So she's handed an iPad, and here essentially she has interface to the 5 different facets of health. Her aspirations are tracked, how she engages with the world, forms of fitness and exercise. Replenishment, of course, is important, so we have nutrition, sleep, other items that are required to keep her healthy. Increasingly, she is driven and measured with sensors and external devices. And finally, of course, there's the clinical records or systems of record that have historically used to manage the relationship. As she checks in, first we have to deal with a couple of items. There were 2 items noted on the dashboard. One is opting into her preferences, the other setting up the portal. So here she's presented a form which confirms her opting in procedures and a willingness to share information like most millennials in order to improve the health of the whole. The form, of course, pre-filled based on her OpenID information from when she first registered coming in from Facebook. Most importantly, to get the human engaged, we have to allow them to participate in the experience. So we ask, in this case, for Lily to pick an image that she would like to have as her big image for inspiration on her inspiration page, and then to prioritize the 5 different facets as to what's relevant. Since she just took a yoga course, she adjusts to put her aspirations as the first. Since she's talking to her physician today, she knows that she's going to get a lecture on her weight program, so she moves her physical fitness program up. And with this now, she's committing these changes to her portal. So first she's asked to confirm this is what the image will look like on her MacBook Pro. We know she has a MacBook Pro again from her OpenID information. And as she can see the screen shown here, she's then offered basically in a multimedia streaming video, shows her many of the features that she would be compelled to use in her ensuing experiences. And so she's now visited the doctor, she's gotten on an airplane, she's flown to Chicago, she's in her hotel room getting ready for the meeting the next morning. Of course, on her laptop she would have access to her employer's portal. Employers, just like consumers, are recognizing the need to channel attention into one activity stream. The IBM framework that we provide essentially gives that as a composite. It includes tasks, social network updates, and messages. And as well, if you're an employer and you're trying to make sure your employees are engaged, you want them to be healthy. So in this case, they've given Providence access availability to put different messages into the employee queues. And in this case, we have a targeted message for Lily. Given that her health is progressing, she's fairly close, made evident that she does care about her health. And so we're linking her to now the Providence laptop portal view where she can see in her dashboard her overall score is improving and the 5 different facets are all in good shape. She needs a few more commitments maybe to go green. And here's the Fitbit ad that she'll check into. And of course, Fitbit recognizes the green movement is important and green is the color we want her dashboard to be. So she'll go ahead and sign up for this, and then she'll be basically back to her homepage where she'll see other things that she can do. There are other campaigns here. She can rearrange her program as we set up here to make sure that various alerts are prioritized appropriately. We have a campaign down here recognizing that when folks travel, it's better to have them out working out. So we've cut a deal with a major fitness firm that has nationwide clubs that they can bring in new members for 5 visits for $5, great way to get presence and people signed up, and as well a great way to get right behavior going on when people are traveling. And so she's essentially taking those directions, pushing them into her mobile experience. She is, in this story, also gone on and ordered some, or found a coupon, a promotion for some new carb bars that are on sale. And then finally, because she's interested in having a child, we have a couple things going on. There's a video here, and also there's a new learning resource. Well, the learning materials here are phenomenal, and so as we look at what's being offered, each individual, as they define their goals and aspirations, they're provided education to enhance their ability to learn and actually step up to the interest areas that they have. So she'll sign up for this social learning courseware. In this social learning module, the video streaming video is very compelling and attractive, but also the fact that she's here with her colleagues and friends with similar needs or wants in the diabetes community, folks who are trying to get pregnant. One of her friends, Samantha, is here, and as is typical in our social platform, every aspect of the social interaction is accessible if the people are opting in to be open and share. And so she starts a chat session essentially with Samantha here, acknowledging they're both here together watching the video. So the video starts up. The video, as it's streaming through, the comments are being captured, and as they're captured, you see the different vertical bars indicating how many comments. These can be analyzed for positive and negative sentiment, and that can be turned back to the author to improve the quality of material. So now she's going to also link to the community. Ultimately, what we're trying to do here with folks is get them engaged with each other, making it a very humane, inspiring experience. At this point, it's time to go do something healthy for the evening, so she's going to sign out, head to her car, and as she has a mobile phone, of course, the Providence Team Care application has pushed to her everything that she needs to get from where she is at the Hilton downtown in Chicago up to the drugstore to get her pharmacy filled and buy her carb bars, and then as well a nice map to get not only to the pharmacy but also to the health club. So that's the end of our visit with Lily. Obviously, she's gotten in, been influenced, changed her behavior in a positive way, and now she's educated and feeling very engaged with the Team Care portal. That program has been so successful now that Dina, when she comes in the next day at Providence in Seattle, is going to see considerable success happening across the marketing organizations. First, very positive alerts coming in about Net Promoter Score and campaign effectiveness. She sees a graph here indicating that the diabetes campaign has been tremendously successful. In the activity stream, one of the key features, one click to see what's the insight, the social comments around it, and then to get directly to the action, she can click on View the Forecast and see what the outlook appears to be for the team overall. So the graphs making evident that things have been boding well based on the marketing uptick and all the focus now on all the new capabilities for a patient pull or member pull model where everything is designed around a customer-centric view. That's great news for the team overall. They're making progress against the goal, but as she looks at her individual scores for her segment, the male heart, this is not portending well. So these are predictive analytics looking at the various actions that she has in place, and this would cause concern. Thankfully, as the system is analyzing the different segments and the different marketing campaigns, the behavior of the various members against the goals, we can compare relative progress. In this case, overall health indicator is one dimension, right behaviors per customer. You would expect as behaviors are changing, health indexes are going up, and Matt Hall here is obviously nailing it. He's the guy we'd want to talk to. We should probably drop in and learn from Matt. Context-sensitive awareness in the portal, make sure that Matt's available if he is available to chat. So we're going to drop in and have a conversation with him, congratulate him on his progress, and then, like any good Type A person, we'll try to follow up and learn from him and borrow his sharing. In his case, he's now obviously recognizing that the wisdom of the crowd is the fastest way to success. So he's giving credit where it's due. His team, all he did was provide an ideation blog to his team, they took multiple ideas about how things could be spun in order to improve the pull model, deep personalization to each of the market segments. And in particular, she likes this first item. So as she reads up on the item from Frank Adams here, she thinks he's making some great points. Essentially a dynamic learning environment where every change, every campaign is measured in an A/B sort of test. And then as the health indicators make evident whether these different actions are working or not, this group learning comes back as the wisdom of the crowd, if you will. So everybody is healed based on their interaction patterns in the portal. That's a wonderful idea. At this point, she could take this and cascade it as a blog, put it into the community. What she's going to try to do at this point is borrow from that campaign and spin up a similar campaign for her team. Since she is a authorized editor in the marketing organization, she no longer has to go to IT. She can basically update things herself. So these campaigns are composites of interaction patterns that include content, rich media, analytics, and so on. As she drops in and looks at the campaign that's been spun up, obviously what she'd like to do now is create a campaign for the heart disease, and so she creates that campaign, which then drops her into a series of pages. The templates are presented as they were originally conveyed. Ultimately, this results in now her having the opportunity to look at the different pages and then edit them. And so she's dropped into the page that we just saw for Lily in that different community. As she's looking at the page and obviously now having to consider what needs to be changed for her male 50s group, certainly one thing would be, based on her hypothesis, well, this is an iPhone, and she's recently, based on her son giving her grief about her iPhone, recognized that males have a predominant favor toward Android devices. So obviously if we can get a video over that instead, that would be an appropriate change to the site. So she's able to find that very quickly in the graphic library, where she was able to sort and pick the different images, and they are sorted based on color and a number of other things. As she's now got this complete from picking 3 different images, she views the community first. Everything's looking good here. The campaign is obviously now ready to roll to the men. And obviously one other thing we might want to do is make sure that it's going to look fine on the iPad devices that these folk are known to be using quite a bit now. So she'll drop in and confirm that the iPad view works just fine. And this is looking pretty good. So we're all set with that. And so she returns to her home screen. Now she's heard some different statistics on the Android versus iPhone. She figures she might as well just check the social analytics patterns to see what went on there. And in fact, as she looks at the history, the top meme for the overall population when they talk about device attachment, still the iPhone, but when she does the pivot to the male group, truly the Android then ends up surfacing. So that's our end-to-end view of Dina, and now we can drop into the most essential use case of our poor friend Conrad. Conrad has not been feeling well. Unfortunately, he was raised in a less informed era when folks were taught to think the Marlboro Man was a healthy thing to do. So he is a smoker. He's been smoking for about 30 years. And this day he's feeling anxious and his stomach is aching. He is out in the parking lot having a cigarette when he is starting to feel clammy. So he texts his boss that he needs a personal day and starts to head home. On his way home, the anxiety starts to rise, as does pain in his stomach. So he pulls over and clicks on the Team Care application, which immediately then offers him an opportunity, given he's in the high-risk group, to have a chat with a triaging system that brings the best possible knowledge and fewest number of questions. So we're asking him for his symptoms. He's got pain in his stomach. Next question would logically be which part of your stomach. It's the upper. That's not boding well right away. And then when we find out that he has sharp pain starting under his jaw, that would be a clear indicator that this could be a heart attack. And if he is driving, we definitely don't want him driving. We certainly don't want to encourage him to drive on to the hospital. The smart thing to do is pull over. So he pulls over and dials 911. Ideally, if he would have already stopped, but we know that may not be the case. The hospital's liability is contained, and he is given best possible path to being healed. And now 2 months later, we hope he's changed his behavior. We've surrounded him with all the right people, and we've given him the best possible experience. He's chosen the sun setting on the right as appropriate for his position in life. It's time for his meeting with the physician. You'll note he's 2 months since his heart attack. He is recovering. He took the easy path, the diet. He is stepping up on other fronts, but at least the diet is in all green. And so we'd expect he's starting to lose a little bit of weight, feeling better about himself. And so now we have the e-consult where Dr. Benway and his nurse, Kara Eng, have joined him. As they enter the community, he's able to see that they're available to chat with him. He is able to see them reviewing his dashboard and complimenting him on his progress. As the conversation ensues, it's best to try to engage him in a clear understanding of what happened and where he needs to go with it. So one thing we can do is drop into a nice three-dimensional view of his heart. This is a recent available technology, very rich visual model. It can be used and mapped, so medical records can essentially be tagged into this, as can external references to MRI and other records. It's an incredibly granular and detailed model that gives Conrad all the information he needs and gives the physician everything he needs to diagnose and guide Conrad on various heart valve conditions and other diseases. Because this is tagged and so rich in granularity, it could readily be used to compare both him to the group that is achieving most significant health. So just as we had the outlier population on the different market segments and their improvement, in this case Conrad is measured against maybe 1,000 heart attack victims, and of the top let's say top 10%, the top 100, three behaviors, if we reverse engineer what behaviors they've engaged in the internet portal, are most responsible, as well as their physical visits. And so, first of all, they are all encouraged on a number of fronts to step up to different programs. One is a physical exercise program, goal setting and aspirations. All these different 5 facets would be considered. In this case, we're just asking for 3 commitments. And as he makes his choices, the wisdom of the crowd is presented. So the course around living better, this new distance learning capability, which is incredibly vibrant when you talk about streaming media and now 3-dimensional and side stream chat, has proven to be most effective. Obviously, exercise itself is important. He might step up to that. And of course, we would want him to lose fat around his waistline. That's been highly correlated. But weight, as he starts to move to the right, it turns out the correlation is not so high, so he's delighted that he doesn't have to step up on all fronts. We can just let the waistline do what it does if he eats properly, but these other 2 he really needs to make a commitment. And we do actually ask him to commit. That's part of what he opted in for, was encouragement. As he makes choices and commitments, these are shared with his community, and so as he logs out now of his e-meeting, the comments are shared with his encouraging friends so that everybody can help each other heal together as a team. And that's essentially how we envision Providence will help its constituents and stakeholders, its members heal. Thank you for your time, and let's hope that Providence moves on this one.